morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Amazing. Let's keep that energy the whole program. Now, if you're realizing, oh, crud, I was just standing here waiting for the bathroom. I didn't want to come to a program. No worries. At any point, if you're not having fun, you're not learning, or you just have something else you got to do, you can slip away at any point, take an emergency phone call, even though we don't have service. I won't judge you. Now, behind us right over there are our lovely bathrooms. Those are pretty much the only bathrooms around here unless you want to go to the campgrounds or if you want to find a fern to water. So if you have to go or feel like you might have to go during your trip here, that's a great place to start. Now, while you're here at the Hope River Valley, I like to go over some safety things. And the most dangerous thing here likes to jump up and grab people when they are not looking. Those are roots and rocks. Those roots and rocks are dastardly, and rolled ankles are our #1 injury here. So please be mindful while you're out hiking. There is one root on the Hall of Mosses that's shaped like this and perfectly puts my boot underneath it. You can see that root and know that Ranger Abby has tripped there 3 separate times. Now, another thing to be mindful of while you are here is we have some amazing wildlife. But there's a key word in there, wild. These animals are focused on making sure they survive. And we don't want to do anything to hinder that. So we want to give them a nice wide berth, especially the elk. The elk also have calves right now, and all mothers are very defensive of their babies, so we give them a wide berth. One way to know if you're far enough away from elk is to follow the rule of thumb. And by that we mean give a thumbs up, close one eye, and try and cover that animal with that thumb. If you are able to do that, then you're far enough away. If not, you need to back up. Is anyone able to cover me up with their thumb? Careful, I bite. Alrighty, and with that, we're going to start. Anyone that missed it, this is a 20-minute question where we're going to answer what makes a rainforest. And what we'll find is that a rainforest is made by community and shapes community. Now, first things first, what's the first ingredient you think we need for a rainforest?
Rain.
Rain, amazing! We've got rain and we've got tons of it here at the whole rainforest. I'm not going to just give us one rain cloud, I'll give us 2. And we have a lot of rain here. But the reason we have so much rain is not because of something that happened yesterday. It's not because you have good or bad luck. It's not because of things that happened thousands of years ago. It's because of things that happened millions and millions of years ago. Millions of years ago, this whole landscape was covered in thick sheets of ice that were moving across. Glaciers. And glaciers, like all forms of water, are amazing at creating change. And they carved out these valleys and shaped the rivers all the way until it reached the ocean. And now we have those deep valleys, and because we're so close to the ocean, we get a lot of moisture. If you go to the ocean in the morning, you'll see this misty haze come up. It's cool, it's damp, and that is the marine layer. It gets pushed up the coast, and as it gets pushed up, it gets denser and denser and denser, and heavier, until eventually something's gotta give. It's gotta rain, and it rains a ton here. Anyone here from Washington? Okay, we got a few people in the back. We got a few people. Anyone here from Seattle? Okay, I'm going to pick on y'all a little bit. Now, Seattle, if you've never met someone from Seattle, you'll know because they will tell you that it rains every day. They have not seen the sun in 3 years. They have never known dryness. Wetness is their life. And they get quite a bit of haze and mist, and it is damp there. But we're going to find out exactly how much moisture they get. Why is Seattle not a rainforest, and why is here a rainforest? Now, I had a volunteer ahead of time. You still want to volunteer? No? All right. Could I have a volunteer help me just stand here and hold something? Awesome. Come on up. I'm just going to have you stand right here. We're going to show everyone exactly how much rain Seattle gets. Here's your tape measure. Seattle gets, on average, about 37.5 inches of rain a year, give or take. The driest definition of rainforest that I could find was about double that, around 60 inches of rain. So Seattle's not feeling so wet anymore. But here at the whole rainforest, we don't like to go with 60 inches as a definition. We like to go with about 100 inches of rain as a definition for a rainforest. But the whole rainforest does not get 100 inches of rain. It does not get 60 inches of rain. It does not even get 37.7 inches of rain a year. You can rejoin, thank you very much. We get a whopping 134 inches of rain on average a year. If it all came down right now, we'd be swimming. Did you bring your life vest?
Yeah.
We have a lot of rain, and Seattle suddenly feels like a desert. Now, this rain is super important because without it, we would not have the ecosystem we do. With 134 inches of rain, we're halfway to a rainforest. What do we need next? We've got rain?
Forest.
Forest, exactly. You guys are on it today. We need a forest. Now, being a park ranger means that everyone thinks I know every single thing about every single tree. And tragically, I do not. I get questions about sequoias and redwoods, and to which I have to say, I don't work at those parks, so I'm not entirely sure. Sorry. But thankfully, here at the home rainforest, I really only need to know a handful of trees, because 98% of our trees are two main species. And if you're from Washington or you're from the Pacific Northwest, you might be going, yeah, western red cedar and Douglas fir. But we actually don't have that many. Those trees make up about 2% of our forest. Instead, our forests are made up of this tree right here in particular. This tree right here is a Sitka spruce. And Sitka spruce are really cool trees. They have this gray alligator skin bark. And if you're wondering what that looks like, you can look behind you right over there. You can also look right over here. You can also look here, or here, or here, or pretty much any tree here at the Hoh Rainforest. Because Sitka spruce love two things in this world, one of which is water. And we have a lot of water. The other thing is a little bit more nebulous. Oftentimes when I'm out on trail, people might start huffing and puffing, and they go, it's the elevation that's getting to me, it's the elevation. We're at 572 feet of elevation. It might not be the elevation, but that's okay because that elevation is exactly why the Sitka spruce love it here. Sitka spruce love low elevations. Anything over 600 feet, they start sweating. They start having a hard time. And so because of that, we are in the perfect place for a Sitka spruce. If you're a Sitka spruce sapling, you end up in the Hoh Rainforest, you've died and gone to heaven. And because of that, they grow big and they grow fast. We've got lots of them. They also have very spiky needles, so if you ever handshake a spruce, you go, ouch. Ooh. But because of that, it can be kind of hard for other trees, like the Douglas fir and the western cedar, that need that light. But it's no problem for our other tree that we have a lot of, the western hemlock. We don't have any right near us, but the way you can tell a western hemlock is a western hemlock is they have short, flat needles that are not nearly as spiky, and they have tiny little cones that look like this. Now, western hemlocks love it here because they also love moisture, but they're also a little shady. They've got offshore bank accounts. They talk about people behind their back. They are very shade-tolerant trees. They don't mind that the Sitka spruce are covering the canopy when they're getting their start. And because of that, we have a lot of these. And these trees dominate the forest. But when you come to a forest, you might think it's very peaceful. It's quiet. There's not much going on. You're very still. And the only reason you feel that is because we can't hear what's going on underneath the surface. There's an amazing scientist called Dr. Suzanne Simard who studied forestry and studied trees and was trying to figure out why do some plots of land do so well and some not so much. And what she discovered were mycorrhizal networks. Now you might be hearing that and going, oh, there's a big science word. I'm going to turn my brain off. Once the ranger starts making jokes, I'll tune back in. But don't worry, I'll break it down for you. Myco means fungus, rhizal means root. So root fungus. And you might be thinking, yes, the root fungus must be why some of those trees weren't doing well. It's actually quite the opposite. Mycorrhizal networks help trees take in nutrients. But what Dr. Suzanne Simard found was that not just that this fungus helps the trees, as individuals. It helps them as a community. She created this illustration of a forest, and you might be going, modern art, interesting. But to understand this, all you need to know is that the bigger the circle, the bigger the tree. And those black lines are those fungus networks that connect trees to trees. And what Dr. Suzanne Simard found is that trees don't only take in nutrients for themselves, they can communicate to other trees. They can send out enzymes saying, hey, there's a lot of pests and disease, I'm getting eaten alive. Get ready, it's coming for you. They can also send nutrients to other trees. Some trees are pretty big. They've been around the block a time or two. They've got things figured out. They get a lot of nutrients, like this tree right here. This tree has a lot of nutrients, and it gives a lot of those away to other trees, to saplings, when those trees are sick or needing help or just getting a boost up to begin with. And that changes the way that we think about forests, because these aren't just big dumb logs waiting to be cut. These trees have communities and networks that they work through. And that community below is the whole reason we can have community above. Now, communities are built off of relationships, and all relationships require a little bit of give and a little bit of take. And a great example of that is the moss. You probably saw photos of this place and saw the lovely moss hanging on the trees and went, oh, I have got to see that. It looks magical. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. And it does, and it's amazing. But as you're walking through the forest, you might start to worry about these trees, going, oh, does this help or hurt the trees? And the answer to that is yes. It does both. So these trees have a lot of moss, especially the big leaf maple, which you'll see on the Hall of Mosses. And we had a scientist come out to a big leaf maple and take all the moss off of this tree. This scientist then dried out the weight and measured it. And we're going to play a little bit of Price is Right to figure out this dry weight of the moss. So if you think I need to up the weight, give me like a crank it up. It needs to be heavier. If you're like, whoa, that is too much moss, give me a whoa. So we're going to start small. 50 pounds dry on a single tree. More? Okay, everyone thinks more. That's good. You should be thinking that. What about 100? More? Awesome. 500. All right, 1,000? I'm hearing a lot of woos. All right. 1,500? One or two more. 2,000? Okay, I'm thinking everyone's saying pretty much whoa. We got a few people cranking it up, but I'll stop here because the majority says no. The dry weight, without water, of moss from a single big leaf maple was 2,200 pounds. Imagine that wet, filled with water, those sponge-like mosses. It's heavy. And because of that, trees bend, limbs snap, and it can do quite a bit of damage on the trees. And if you like the trees, you might be like, all right, someone's got to do it. I'm going to strip all the moss from the Hall of Mosses. I'll take the bullet. If you did that, you'd be hurting these trees immensely, because canopy scientists have found that moss flips the forest on its head. Because as moss grows, some of it dies, and then some more grows, and some more dies. And as it does that, it decomposes, and it creates a layer of soil in the air. Suddenly you've got a tree down here and soil above the tree. And that tree will send in roots and take in nutrients. Moss even has to pay rent. None of us can escape it. But those nutrients help these trees a lot, because it's competitive in this forest. It can be hard. And those nutrients help give them an edge. That big leaf maple that we stripped all the moss off of died very quickly after. So this moss is important. But we don't just have plants that represent relationships in communities. We also have some really cool creatures. One in particular, I'm sure everyone here would love to see. Anyone here seen an elk so far? Not yet. Would anyone like to see an elk? Amazing. Well, you are in luck, because I brought one today. I brought an elk for you. This elk right here is a Roosevelt elk. And Roosevelt elk are amazing creatures. And they really represent that give and take. Because Roosevelt elk love to eat. Is anyone here a vegetarian, vegan, or just really like veggies? Awesome. If you like your veggies, do you think you could eat 10 pounds of veggies in a day? All right, so then 24 pounds of veggies is probably off the table, right? A bull Roosevelt elk eats about 24 pounds of vegetation a day. That's a lot of plants. So they take a lot of vegetation. So what might they be given? They give a few things, obviously their poo, but who cares about poo? What I'm more interested in is what they do to the landscape. If you were to go to the Quinault Rainforest, there's a trail here where you can see it's very brushy. Looks very similar to what we have right here. And this is pretty close to the parking lot. And because it's close to the parking lot, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of cars, not a lot of elk. If you go 5 miles up to the trail, you'd see this. They look a little different, side by side. A little bit more open, more room for new growth. Did you know that elk have their degrees in landscaping? They're pretty smart, they're pretty adventurous. These guys give their gardening expertise, making room for new life. They also shape the forest itself. One of the reasons we have so many Sitka spruce is those spiky needles I mentioned. They're not fun to chew on. They hurt your mouth. And the elk go, I'll go chew on the other trees instead. And so we get a lot of Sitka spruce because of those elk. But they haven't just given their landscaping expertise. They've given a whole lot more. Because I mentioned that these are Roosevelt elk. Anyone here know someone by the name of Roosevelt that really liked animals?
President Roosevelt.
President Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt came out to this area and saw the Roosevelt elk. And he was impressed by their massive size, their beauty, their grandeur. But more importantly, he was worried. Because at the time, Roosevelt elk were being hunted to nearly the point of extinction. Mostly for their teeth, for the elk ivory to create jewelry. So people would hunt these elk, take the teeth, and leave the bodies. Theodore Roosevelt said that's wasteful, that's bad, we can't do that. We need to protect these animals. And so he created Olympic National Monument, which eventually became Olympic National Park. The elk have given the park itself. Not a single one of us would be here without them. So we've got that give and take from elk, but there's another creature that I really love here that you probably hear a lot about give and take here in Washington. You probably see it on every menu here. Anyone know what this is? Salmon! We've got salmon, and we've got plenty of it. If you like salmon, you're in an amazing spot. Because if you were to go just a few moments up the trail there, you're going to cross over a bridge, and under that bridge will be the clearest water you've ever seen in your life. That's Taft Creek. And in it, you'll see beautiful plants flowing, water, parsley, twigs. You'll hear the birds chirping. Again, you'll feel like it's Lord of the Rings. But if you're still and observant and patient, you might see a little fish about this big, zip from side to side. And that fish right there is a baby coho salmon. This is their nursery. They're going to get their start here, hiding from predators in the twigs. They're going to get some nutrients, getting bigger and bigger, eating mosquito larvae, which love the salmon for that. And eventually, they're going to get so big that this creek is not going to be enough for them. And they're going to have to spread their fins and swim out to the ocean. There, they're going to be taking in even more nutrients, like nitrogen-12, which only naturally occurs in the ocean. And getting bigger and bigger, dodging orcas and all the other dangers the ocean has to offer. And if they survive, eventually, they're going to go, you know what? I think it's time to go back home. Time to visit my old hometown. And they'll come back to the very streams that they spawned in, where they were born. And what they're coming back to do is to create more baby salmon and die. And sometimes when I talk about salmon, I hear, that's the life, man. I just want to go to the ocean with my boys, come back home, party, die. But salmon are not just role models in their party lifestyle. They do a whole lot more than that, because when they come here to die, the bobcats, the herons, the bears are all very excited to eat them. And they decompose. A little bit of them is left behind. What comes in must go out, right? That nitrogen-12 that only naturally occurs in the ocean, you could find in these trees if you took a core sample. The fish are in the trees. They feed the forest, and they give them the nutrients. They support the community that gave them their start. And as they do that, they give back. So salmon give back to their community. A lot of that give, a lot of that take. Now there is one more creature that I've neglected to talk about, and it'll be our final creature. You probably see this creature every single day, but don't even realize it. It shaped this landscape entirely, and pretty much every other landscape. Any ideas what it might be?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot! I wish it was Bigfoot. You don't see him every day, though. It's a rare occasion when you see him. Not Bigfoot. Anyone? Huh? Ants do a lot, but I'm not talking about ants. I should, though. Huh? Slugs. Slugs are amazing. Tragically, I do not see banana slugs every day. I wish I did, though. Worms, squirrels. All right, I'm going to spoil it. I might have heard it, might not have. It is us. It is people.
Ew, I don't see them every day.
Gotta get a mirror.
No.
Now, people have shaped this landscape, and that's really important. Because when we come to national parks, I often hear this place is pristine, untouched by man. I must be the first person here. And that's an amazing feeling to have, but it's not true. This place, just like pretty much every other wild place, has been visited, explored, and lived in for generations. It's not due to a lack of people that we have these places. It's due to the immense care and respect of people before us. The Hoh Valley is home to the Hoh tribe that call themselves the Chalaat and have lived here for time immemorial. And that's important to remember because often when things are scary, things are changing, it can feel like humans ruin everything we touch. We should just go to Mars and ruin Mars and leave Mother Earth alone. She's had enough harassment. But humans are a part of this landscape. We are a part of this chain. The earliest evidence I could find of elk on the Olympic Peninsula was about 10,000 years ago. The earliest evidence of people was about 13,000 years ago. People are as much a part of this landscape as the elk. And because of that, we can do a whole lot of that taking, but we can also do a whole lot of that giving. So, when you think of a place that maybe is special to you, that's having a lot of change, and it might feel scary and harrowing and like you can't do anything, I hope you think about our community here and choose someone to replicate. You can be like the salmon. Take what you learn here. Take what you can only get from the Hoh Rainforest, from your visits, your travels, and bring it home and enrich your community. You can be like the elk and eat more vegetables. You can rip salmon from my cold dead hands. I will never give it up. But I will have a little bit more tofu. I will have a few more salads because eating more vegetables is the single best way that you can reduce your impact on the planet. But if you're looking to go beyond yourself as an individual, you want to do more than just eating vegetables and telling someone like, the Hoh Rainforest is amazing, you should go there. You can look towards the trees and create your own mycorrhizal networks. That community below ground or above ground. That community can be a club at school. It can be a church, a synagogue, a mosque. It could be your YMCA. Believe it or not, it can be your HOA. But creating that community, even if that community is just a group of friends that also care and want to do something, will do a whole lot more than we ever could as individuals. Because we can do a lot as individuals. But as a forest, as mycorrhizal networks, we can support a whole web of life that goes way beyond us. I hope you guys enjoy your visit here. You've taken something from this visit, but you also give a little bit back in return. Thank you guys for being here. If you have questions, I'll be right here.
Awesome, thank you. I just wanted to get your permission to post pieces of this. Is that okay?
Totally.
All
Thank
right,
you for asking.
Sure. Have a good day.
You too.
You were great.
Thank